Alright, so back to earning. Okay, so this is going to affect YouTube for sure. It'll be a main one. You know, in lots of ways, these like gamer kids, a lot of times they get people, pedophiles, hyping them up so that they get the checklistable number to do the live camera. And so that usually comes from, usually a lot of times, I mean, there'll be different reasons. If they're like a dumb pedo wiener, a lot of times it'll be other pedo wieners doing it. Or it'll be a bunch of pissed off hackers that fucking hate the little fucking fuck. But they all kind of utilize the same like method. And so the method when they do child exploitation is to get the child to be doing videos on YouTube. And then they sit subversively liking it and becoming followers with avatars and stuff like that. And so then eventually it moves on to them being able to do live camera. And so then that is usually where they push towards giving the child some imaginary money or access to dark web or whatever enticement the child is looking for. Basically, they'll have a whole series, they voyeur target the child. They attempt to analyze individually at their targets on what they would want. And then it eventually pushes the child to doing, well, I mean, their ultimate goal is to get the child to have sex with another child on the live camera that then they'll be watching and they record it. And then they disseminate it out as pedophile pornography. Or they build up a voyeur site on the child of a bunch of pedophiles that get overly sexually aroused at their nudity and shit like that. And so then they also push for that because that is kind of what they have different ways of exploiting the child or whoever the target is. And so this is the kind of stuff that in Earn It, this is the type of research that's going to limit liabilities of the corporation into keeping internal databases on this stuff. So it's going to be forcing like the law department that when it falls into stuff like this, it's going to be forcing the law department to have to lower their secrecy ability in the company. Because I know that this stuff, the lawyers are liability reduction specialists. And that scandals like this is what they, a lot of times, are like tasked with minimizing. And see, that liability reduction ability is what will be broken down in the Earn It when it comes to stuff like this. And so then the corporation and the lawyers are going to have to reevaluate what their liability reduction stuff is. And so my thought is that this will potentially create scandals with social media. It'll probably drop numbers off by parents freaked out about their kids and shit. So the reality is that the extremeness and frequency of this stuff is pushing the government to have to be doing this. So there's probably like, well, there's a way to approach this stuff where you become at the forefront, not to be internalizing it, but to be the ones that build. Essentially, the FBI will probably be creating a division that in some ways, since those people are using your server, you might be able to emulate a lot of what they do as a secondary. See, they're still going to need to be able to do that. And this is where the reduction of liabilities means giving the government more abilities when it comes to this type of stuff, and that then the company itself should turn it into we protect children too by helping and emulating and doing the same thing under the civilian law sets. And then they can turn it into a PR marketing that could, it's never bad for a corporation to be viewed as a moral company that helps reduce psychotic pedophilia groomings and pedo porn and shit like that, okay? And nobody would ever view, you think about the moral aspects of that. That will bring people back to your site. See, once they make a real dent, and once they're able to restrict this type of pedophile grooming and pedo porn methodologies, then they can market themselves as the site that's clean, and then parents will feel confidence, and then you'll probably get even more numbers. See, this is what angel power is. See, the moment that clean sites become clean, basically, is the moment that newer people start to build money in the company. See, there's a real investment opportunity to building a clean moral company idea, and that a lot of people that are apprehensive or something about investing might be apprehensive about investing in a company that is utilized to groom and to produce pedo porn and child exploitation. So, if you're able to eliminate that type of stuff and victim exploitations, and essentially all the same idea, okay? Then once you're able to eliminate that, then people that are apprehensive in investing won't be apprehensive. And then what you'll see is the angelic bucks. And so there's really, it's like, I know what guerrilla marketing 50 promo stuff is. But you see, you can essentially, this is what I know about stupid fucking pedophiles and an S&M. Whatever they're doing potentially can be built into an AI. Where, in ways, if they want to do like the promoing of a human being or something like that, there might be an AI that could just be pressed as a button that could just kind of, it's okay. And so, because whatever they're doing is technically like a grouping of a workflow of computer actions, which is AI-able. Right? So, that's kind of like where a lot of these, like YouTube, they'll subversively rely on 50 promo up method to being what lures people to YouTube. And so, if they're able to take control of that, and then if they're able to build an ethical AI that they use ethically, basically, then that would basically negate the reason for even needing the 50 promo stuff to be pumping up the site or whatever. You could potentially build it into an AI that pumps up your own site. I mean, seriously. And so that's why I say, if you guys, I know there are lots of tech companies that do social media kind of rely on this subversive 50 promo and shit, okay? I know that. And I know what keeps the money flowing and shit. But that's why I say that there's potentials for just building an AI that achieves the same purpose and then negates even needing those people. I mean, if that marketing method is essential, essentially it's only meant to get people to be hyped up about doing tubins. And so If the company does a similar hype up itself, then people will still frequent the tubins, and then you won't have to balance a subversive alliance with the stupid dark web, okay?